Good morning. Welcome to this amazing service on this Sunday after Christmas. We're really happy to be here with you this morning. We have our two sound team people, Lindy and Dave. We have exquisite music from Dalton and Judy, and Reverend Sue speaking, and I just get to hang out, so I'm really happy about this. And Charlie rang the bell, so we're quite a team here this morning. The topic is making magic, and that's the first thing Dalton and Judy are going to do, offer us some magic.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saves and sets me free. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears released. How precious did that grace appeared the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come, but it was grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace shall lead me home. Oh, and we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We know there's days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Oh, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saves and sets me free. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Was blind, but now I see.
That was beautiful, thank you. Just lifts your heart up in the morning, doesn't it? Well, I'm Reverend Dr. Mary Mitchell, and co-senior minister here at the center, if you're not aware of that. And, you know, I want you to know our vision. We inspire people to live spiritually fulfilling lives. And that's what we do really well here. And so I have a few invitations to just kind of share that with you, because even though it's virus time, Zoom is something that brings us together in so many ways. And if you don't know how to use Zoom, Jim Nelson, one of our congregants, is willing to help anyone do that. It's really a valuable tool to use during these times. Reverend Sue's going to start a class called Breaking Habits on January 6th, that's a Wednesday, 7 to 8:30 in the evening, and it's an 8-week class using Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Now, That itself is intriguing. So I think anything Dr. Joe does is evolutionary, I think, for most people. So contact Reverend Sue, call the office and let us know if you'd like to join in on that. But Sue can give you the Zoom invitation, how to get on. Then the next night, January 7th to February 25th, she's going to be doing the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. This is a class that launches us into the new year by learning tools of success presented by Deepak Chopra in his most famous book, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, again by Zoom with Reverend Sue, and that's 6:30 to 8:30 on Thursday. Now, if the thought ever even crossed your mind, maybe someday I'd like to be a licensed professional prayer practitioner. The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success is accredited by our parent organization as one of the 6 classes that you would need. There's a whole array of classes, but this one does count. So if you want to start racking up those points to join practitioner training eventually, that's one way to do it. We have a 9-member board here at the center, and we have a couple openings in March that will be filled, hopefully, by our congregants at the annual congregational meeting. And so if you're interested in serving on the board, it's a wonderful experience, absolutely wonderful. You need to be a member with the center for at least 1 year and having completed 2 Science of Mind accredited classes. Board members serve for 3 years, and because so many people love it, they usually go for another 3, but that's not necessary. So call any of us, any of the ministers or other board members if you'd like to know more. Applications are available on our website, or we can mail you one. Just let us know. Every Wednesday now for several months, Reverend Sue and I, and Jim Nelson, because he's a really good user of Zoom, how to make it happen really well, we have at 10 o'clock Wednesday midweek pick-me-up meeting. You can join us on Zoom and we'll talk maybe a little bit about the Sunday talk, check in with everyone, how are you doing, how were your holidays, anything we can pray for you, and it lasts about an hour. Usually 8 to 15 people show up, some different, but there's a lot of the same, so it's a really wonderful group, and we'd love to have you join us. It's an opportunity to stay connected in these times when you really want to give somebody a hug, but you just can't. So anyway, those are the opportunities for you. I will be continuing my practitioner training class. I have 4 students, and we meet in 10-week increments. We're going to be going into our next 10-week increment, so I'm looking forward to that. Now we'll go into our reading, and Dalton will be presenting that. Then Charlie will ring the bell 3 times. I'll do a spiritual mind treatment, and then we'll hear from Reverend Sue on the topic making magic. I'm looking really forward to that. So, Dalton.
Good morning. Our reading for today has no title, but it's labeled Reflections from Gene Farmer, a friend of Doug von Koss and Richard Nagel. In the words of Rowan White, "Today I realized that we have been in shelter in place for 39 weeks here in our home, nearly 1 full gestation cycle for humans. As we head through this confluence of intensity, moving through the transition of what it means to listen to what this virus and these times are teaching us, we head into our 4th trimester of reckoning, letting go, listening, and leaning deeper into an understanding of what collective care truly means." This poem was written by Gene Farmer in March when California first shut down, sitting with her feelings. She shares it now in reflections circling back around, finding new layers of meaning 1 full gestation cycle later. An expression of faith in life herself is to sow seeds into dark soil, not knowing what awaits. Returning to the patience, reverence, grace, humility, practices by our ancestors, who knew how to feed the hungers of time that call down the rains with a simple song. It is those kinds of people whose memory courses through my veins like wild rivers, reminding me to wake up amidst the confusion, to do what must be done to feed the children, to tuck vibrant seeds into fertile soil, and patiently tend the garden, back bent in service. To those whose faces look up at us from the well-worn path we walk. The garden that our ancestors left for us is beautiful. May we water it well with our tears and our laughter, our stories and our songs. Today I choose to plant seeds of hope into the winds of an unknown future. May we grow from this tiny seed of remembrance, this intimate immensity, coming totally apart, emerging out of the hard shell of generations of protection and prayer, a seed coat tempered by love and loss, joy and pain, completely coming undone to reorient to this new form. It is a new dawn. The time to be those ancestors our grandchildren are waiting for is upon us. What seeds are you sowing? And Henry David Thoreau, I have great faith in a seed. Convince me that you have a seed there, and I am prepared to expect wonders.
This morning with this music and this air filled with love, I know the magic of believing. There is magic in knowing that we are all children of the one, that one infinite intelligence that created us, that one who, by the law of mind, responds to us. And as our minds are focused on love, harmony, peace, joy, happiness, gratitude, we experience the magic of those words coming back to us. They come back in so many ways, through the laughter of children, through a funny look from the one that you love that says, I love you. They come back to us with people who are just kind out in the world, that are just kind people. They come back to us in so many ways, and we know that the love of God is fully present in our lives. And sometimes it does feel like magic. So I'm grateful for this philosophy, for knowing how the law works, how this universe continues to hum along, continues to operate in such profound beauty, no matter what's going on with humanity. We feel, we believe. It may be magic, but it's the truth, created in God's love. So I let those words flow into the universe and come back to all of you with that joyous feeling of today is a magical day. And so it is. Reverend Sue.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Dalton, for reading that beautiful poem. And good morning, my friends. So the talk today is about making magic. This whole month of December has been an opportunity to celebrate divine truth. And Mary and I have delivered various messages all the way from the shadow to preparing the way. And now we're here at the end of the year, and I want to wrap it up with the ideas from making magic in this topic. So Patrick Harbula, who was the author of The Magic of the Soul, he invites us into this conversation. Finding magic in every situation is a technique that can help us to accept whatever is happening in each moment. It is magical. If it is magical, we can use it to increase our expression of soul energy and learn from the experience. So this philosophy, from the day one of my first introduction to it, had a taste of magic. And it's had a mystery that has enticed me throughout my years of study. And it's what calls me on this journey. It's what calls me, this magic of creation, this mystery unfolding. And I also recognize nothing's random, that we are engaging with the law of mind and creating every single moment something magical, something joyful, when we align our intention with a pure intention. Now, a couple weeks ago, I did speak about preparing the way. And I mentioned in part of that talk the story of the Etsy adventure and the puppet. Now I have manifested the puppet. Here he is. Isn't she adorable? She wants to have center stage. She's a he, she. I keep calling her he and then she, but I absolutely fell in love with this little character. Absolutely fell in love, like it's my newest grandbaby. I just have such an affection, and why? Because this started in an imagination. It came through fruition through planning and preparing the way. As a demonstration of this truth unfolding, it was an experiment of truth. And I introduce you. I call her Suji. And this Suji is my deep spiritual self. My deepest spiritual self. Yeah. That's who you are. And I love this self. I love this inner self. And I choose you to find your totem, your truth, your magic, to discover your inner self, to love it that deeply, to embrace it. And I have no embarrassment about this. I don't have to explain this to anyone. So she's my inner joy, my inner child, my love of the magic of creation. I can't look in a mirror. We always do this in workshops, tell people look deeply into the mirror and tell yourself how much you love yourself. Right, Ronnie? Those are some tough ones. But I can't say, I love you to this face, to this me. Because when I look in the mirror, I see the lines and the traces of moments where I have betrayed this sweet inner self, where I have betrayed her. But this, when I look upon this is enchanting me. She's whimsical. And she was birthed to me by my own daughter, Lindy. Lindy she started to create one puppet for her child. And at Christmas morning, we had a whole bag full of puppets, each with different eyes, different ears, different personality. But it was like a basket of pure love that just poured out on our Zoom family call. And we were all eager to want to touch our puppet. And so I add to this, she's mine. And I just love her, and I thank you, Lindy, for this gift of a lifetime. So Ernest Holmes reminds us to be expectant. He invites us each to open up to our whole consciousness to the greater possibilities of our life. Line up, he said, with the big things. Go ahead, make that challenge for yourself. When you speak the word, expect it to happen. There's the magic. Know that it must be as you say. This will not be fooling yourself. It will be simply using the law as it was meant to be used. And what law am I talking about if you're new to this philosophy? That is the creative law. Basically, everything comes to us through the use of that mental field, through the use of thought. Think small? Well, then expect small. Here's the magic. Because the power of our word, declared with intention and emotion, can carry us no further than the consciousness back of it. There's a greater consciousness that we lean into in such a beautiful way. There's no limitation to this power that we hold within each one of us, but we have to put our own mind into practice here. The invitation to experience the magic is to expand our thought. The power of attraction does the rest. Ernest Holmes reminds us of this. Dare to fling out into the mind the great assurance about yourself. Yeah. Dare to do it. Dare. Dare in the 2021 to declare a greater truth about yourself. If you've been living small, break open. Break open because there's magic waiting for you to fulfill that glory. Ernest Holmes also said, we live in spirit, awaiting the touch of thought that believes. I'm going to say that again because we live in a spirit, in a consciousness, in a mental framework that is just waiting for the touch of a thought that believes. So I'm thrilled in this moment. For some reason, this puppet has introduced me to that deep self, that longing to love that deep divine self without embarrassment. And I feel this is an opportunity to break even wider open into the deeper knowing. So Ernest Holmes says, we live in the spirit, awaiting the touch of thought that believes. All people look, but a few see. It is the magic, he says, of the divine way. It is the magic of the divine way. So we're surrounded by this power. It's responsible for every demonstration, and it reads every thought. With calm and ease, you can be reassured that you are participating now with a perfect divine law. For God is this infinite intelligence, always available to all of us, and it's just up to us to be willing to accept that truth. Using this divine law of manifestation does exist, and it acts upon every thought we think. We don't have to force ourselves into this field. It is done unto us as we believe. The secret here is this, Ernest Holmes. You get the best results. And I'm going to read directly from his words, where he says, you wish to use the laws of your being in such a way that you cannot bring evil to yourself or others. You must be certain your desire is towards more life to everyone, including yourself. If you follow that rule, you can never use this wrongly. There is the law of faith and belief, which is just as definite as any other law in nature. The law utilizes the creative principle of life in such a way that all lesser use of it becomes submerged. This is the triumph of spirit. So that is from one of his original writings, this thing called you, this power that dwells within you as you. Life enters into you, in me, in you, through us, as us. This power is and has an irresistible impulse to create something greater. And I think that sometimes when that impulse is suppressed, it is those moments where we go inward into more of a contemplative state. Sometimes it feels like a depressed state. But those are the moments of moving into spiritual practice, to go into a still, small place and to deeply, deeply listen. What is mine to do here? What is mine to co-create here with the divine mind, with that power of love and the investment of faith behind my word to create a better world? As it goes back to Jean Farmer's poem and that indigenous poem about the ancestors and our grandchildren and our responsibility to create a better world that works for all. This is the opportunity that we've been building on. This is where our power and our passion continues to inspire us every day. There's also another part of being invested in the universal order, and this is from Creative Mind. And he says these words, Ernest Holmes. In the infinity of mind, which is the principle of all metaphysics and all of life, there is nothing but mind and that which mind does. That's all there is in the universe. That is all there ever was or ever will be. This mind is acted upon by our thought, so our thought becomes the law. It is just as much a law in our individual life as God thought it into the larger life in the universe. For the sake of clearness, think of yourself as this mind. Think of yourself as the center in it. That is your principle. You think, and the mind produces the thing. One of the big points to remember is that we do not have to create. All that we have to do is think. Mind, the only mind that there is the creator, is the doer. We clear the way. We become the instruments of that truth. Few people can understand the nature of the law, and so they think they've got to do something, even if it's only holding a thought. Thinking or knowing is what does the thing. It will make it much easier for us when we realize that we do not have to make anything. All we have to do is know that there is something back of that knowing which does the work. And every person gets the best results when they realize that they can use this divine principle. We can get the clearest concept of your idea and then rely on the mind to do it the rest, keeping everything out of his thought that would contradict the supremacy of spirit or mind. So the power invested in this wondrous mind that is motivated and propelled by love, that's what we are inviting ourselves into, discovering the magic here that we are dealing with. So you were originally, think about this, even you, were an undifferentiated, formless substance of life. This thing was a ream of material that we held under one arm. And then the scissors began to cut. And then the pattern of love and creativity and the imagination of the mind of one daughter who loved her son so much, wanted to make him a puppet. But then I wanted one. I was going to just borrow Corey's puppet, but I got my own puppet. And so I love that puppet even more. But that's how this undifferentiated form comes into life. We infuse it. A thought picture came into you from a formless form, and then the creative action of spirit brought it to life in you. That's what's doing the work. This is what Troward points to too, and Genevieve Behrend is a scholar, was a student of Troward's, and she reminds us of this, that you have to turn on that light of awareness. You have to project that desire of the deepest intention upon the screen of your mind to then be revealed in the physical, to allow it to take shape. Have faith in that. Have faith in that. This particular notion comes directly from her. She says, it is the faith that gives you dominion over every adverse circumstance or condition. It is your word of faith that sets you free. Not faith in a specific thing, but simply faith. Faith in your best self. Faith in that always. It is the ever-present, creative power within the heart of the Word that makes your health, your peace of mind, and your financial condition a reproduction of your most habitual thinking. Try to believe and understand this, and you will find yourself the master of every adverse circumstance or condition, for you will become the prince or the princess of power. That was from Genevieve, from her study of Troward. So all of the wisdom teachings have this profound kernel of truth, this thread, this magic that continues to manifest. And some of the origins of this idea comes from the Hermetic teachings, from the manual of the, I think it's called, pronouncing it wrong perhaps, but Kybalion, from way back in the ancient times of Egypt, when secrecy of this teaching was evident through the times as it evolved. But this magic of the teaching, his name's Hermes, and I'm going to try to say this, Trismegistus, from Egypt. He lived at the time of Moses. And he came up with these 7 ideas of secrets of manifestation. Now, from Egypt, you remember the Rosicrucians have their temples of the pyramids, and they have all this science. If you go down to San Jose and look at the Rosicrucian museum, it's just so fascinating because you see the alchemy that they have all demonstrated there with all the different fragrances and crystals and knowing how to transform metals. And it's just the most phenomenal place where you see this magic and this deep thinking from that long time period ago, back at the time of Moses. So think about these. These seem so familiar to you. This is one of the first ones in the manual. Number 1, the all, the divine, everything is mind. The universe is mental. He refers to it as mentalism. The creator is all. The divine mind is everywhere, and we live inside this omnipresent mind. That's number 1. That's one of the first sacred secrets. Number 2, as above, so below. As below, so above. The law of correspondence. Physical, it works on the physical, the mental, and the spiritual planes. A law that works on each plane and is always the same. As above, so below. As below, so above. The riddle for you to contemplate. As you think, so be it. And as you allow yourselves to be fed with the divine thoughts, so be it, from above to below. It will manifest. Number 3, nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Now, that is so quantum physics to me nowadays. Now, think back in the days of Moses. Seems like such an interesting connection to a wisdom that we find still so fascinating today. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. The vibrations of atoms and energy. The difference is the rate and the acceleration or the deceleration. That determines what is being attracted or changed. Number 4, everything is dual. Everything has a pole. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in the degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. Change your vibrational influence to the highest end of each pole, and then everything is the same, they're merely ends of the same pole, the vibrational frequency, the law of polarity. Now this one I've sat with for a while, and I remember going to Dr. James Golden, and I was in one of my in insecure spaces, and he was talking to me, and he said Muktananda had shared this wisdom of a measuring stick, and he said, which end are you looking at, and who's determining that measuring stick? And I realized that I had just made up this idea of determining who I was by the influence of other people's opinions. And he says, don't use those measuring sticks. And he reminded me just to turn it, to look at the higher possibilities, this law of polarity. And if I chose to flip that measuring stick to a higher idea, I attract that into my nature. Number 5, everything flows out and in. Everything has a tide. All things rise, all things fall. The pendulum swings and manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the same measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. This refers to the rhythm of life. Master the rhythms, and you master life's ups and downs. Number 6, every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many plans of causation, but nothing escapes the law. Cause and effect is here. There's perfect order in the universe. That is why we declare so often, a good is unfolding here. Let us not stop along the journey and lay down our camping gear here. Let us continue to recognize something beautiful is evolving, and we are ambassadors of that truth, of that love, of that good unfolding. Number 7, gender is everything. Everything has masculine, or gender is in everything. Everything has masculine and feminine principle. A gender manifests on all planes. This gender refers to an energy. Now, female energy has the magnetic and attracting energy, and male energy has the electric and creating energy. Releasing and attracting are the basis of divine magic. So to manifest, you must either attract your desire or create it. So those principles of these truths, these 7, we understand from a certain point of view as we explore deeper onto the spiritual journey that there's a magic key here to open the doors of these possibilities, the potentiality of creating. But let's return to the heart right now. What is the magic in your spiritual practice? Because it comes back to you. All that philosophy, all that heady stuff, all that field of mental understanding is just a coaching to remind us that it's up to each one of us to tap into that field of greater love, of potentiality. And so I'm going to take you now, I'm going to invite Judy to play a little bit as you just feel yourself entering a spiritual practice. We always speak of it. But this year, claim it as the first thing that you do upon awakening each day. Sit for just a moment, or stand for just a moment in the divine, and be the conduit of that truth. So from this Yoga Journal article, I share these few points. Get grounded. Get grounded in that moment when you awaken. There begins the habits of your mind, and there you stand as the gatekeeper to a greater truth. Massage your feet or do anything you can to master this moment of being grounded in this opportunity of having a physical body. Connect to your core. Know that you have a strength within you. Get clear and sit in a space of silence. In this next coming year, find more calm, more ease. Do a body scan and check in with yourself. Open your heart. Connect to your breath. connect to an awareness, and witness the insights that are bubbling up through you as you cultivate the field of your mind. And then this beautiful, I will lead into our prayer now from Sally Kimpton. I just love this prayer because it ties in this month of study. May all the imbalances be balanced. May confusion be illuminated. May the dark and the light sides of myself be balanced. And may I be able to use the gifts hidden in my shadow for the benefit of all beings. We go deeper. And we recognize that as we take this moment to take our seat humbly before the divine and open our heart, a greater love pours through us and becomes our touchstone for every moment that follows. This love embraces us all. And in that love, magic happens. In that love, we choose to forgive what needs to be forgiven. In that love, we sit with those moments of being unsatisfied or complaining, and we turn the story to a greater good unfolding, and we lift up the world in a moment of just reverent, deep listening, and the magic happens. And as we continue to contemplate and sit in the power of our being, we see a greater world unfolding that works for all. We see the children playing with one another again. We see circles of friends gathering and enjoying a meal together again. We see the sanctuary filled with voices of song, voices of praise, voices of love. We see it in our mind's eye, and we hold to that truth. We remember what was, and we have learned from what is, and we now glorify the unfolding and the healing that is happening right here, right now. And our hearts pour open to the grief that so many feel at this time of the loved ones they have lost. But we recognize we hold that grief with them. They're not alone. There's so much we are grateful for as we champion this moment, as we have championed this year together. We have walked in our strength, in our clarity, in our truth. And together we stand strong. We stand in a power of love, and we co-create a new vision, a new way, and the magic allows it to happen. I give thanks. I give thanks for each and every one of you who has allowed this teaching to continue to spread out into the community, to allow the power of the word to reach the heart of the one longing to be awakened. I release this word now knowing that it does what it does. The magic unfolds. And we simply say in gratitude, thank you, God, for the love, the grace, the beauty, the health, the vitality that fills us all. In this knowing, I let it be so. And together we say, and so it is. So, I close with just inviting you to go out and make magic happen. I wanted to close with Patrick's words, recognizing, this is Patrick Harbula from The Magic of the Soul, recognizing that spiritual force, the magic of each individual soul is present and active in every experience, daily practice. People can dramatically change how they respond to life's challenges and infuse the direction of their lives with greater peace, fulfillment, and meaning. Your affirmation, I am making magic every time I align with the power, the presence, the authority of the divine in me. Many blessings to you. Thank you for listening.
I know you believe, like I believe, that that was one of the most beautifully and animated talks that Sue has done. And Lindy, it's your fault. That was so sweet, so sweet. Oh, very sweet. Well, right now, I'd like to invite you to whoop. Repeat after me as we go into our time of the offertory. Gratefully, I give with an attitude of abundance. For I know as I give, I do receive. And so it is. And I just want you to know how grateful we all are, not just the people that are kind of leadership, but grateful everyone is for the continued amazing support of the center. Because it's here, whether you're here physically or not, but we're here for you every day. And you know, things are changing, things are evolving, and I'm extremely confident in the new year as it all unfolds, as so it should. And so, if you would like a spiritual mind treatment, please call a practitioner. We would love to do one for you. You can call the prayer line here at the center for that. And I thank you so much for your offerings. Know that they are extremely valuable in these times. And so we'd like to close with some beautiful music by Dalton and Judy. And thank you for being here with us again. We love you all.
And please, wherever you are, feel free to sing along with this one. I think you may recognize it.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our one source, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Have a good day.